I've never in my life seen anyone as cruel, rude, mean, vindictive, vengeful, hateful as Donald Trump is. My name is Janet. I live in a little town of Byron, Georgia. I thought in 2016 when I voted for Donald Trump that I voted for the lesser of the two evils. From the insurrection that he directly caused with his rhetoric in his mouth and inciting the people into doing what they did to our nation's capital is just beyond imagination. The sexual assault, and let's call it rape because that's what it was, to inflating property values to get better loan interest rates, to sharing our classified documents to anybody that wanted to look at them and brag about it, and his friendship with communist leaders is just unthinkable. Presidents are not supposed to do that. They're supposed to be for the country they represent. And I've been here almost 70 years, and I've never in my life seen anyone as cruel, rude, mean, vindictive, vengeful, hateful as Donald Trump is. Everything he says has to be fact-checked because 95% of the time or more, it is untrue. And the childish name-calling.
So Georgia's just going to be one big data center. You guys, that is not one data center. That number right there is how many are right here. Also, I just found out that data centers don't even have to legally report how much water they use. Just when you think it can't get any worse, Georgia Power is taking people's property and homes through eminent domain to expand their high voltage power lines to support these data centers. Now, the lovely interns at Science for Georgia have made some interactive maps. The black spots are current data centers. The orange ones are ones that are coming. Look at the numbers just in this area. So these are the current operational estimates for water usage in Georgia. Now, why is this an estimate? Oh yeah, that's right, because they don't legally have to report how much water they're using. However, Senator Durbin out of Illinois has proposed this Water and Energy Transparency Act. The data centers would need to report their energy and water use, and this was just introduced in March. But then I was like, aren't they paying for water by the gallon? They are. And in fact, usually at a much lower rate than you and I. They negotiate rates. Google, for example, paid $6.08 per 1,000 gallons, whereas the locals were paying $10.80 for 1,000 gallons. But just because they're paying for it doesn't mean they have to report it. Now, Project Sail, the 829-acre data center that is coming to Coweta County, Georgia, Georgia Power is set to demolish 2230 homes because they need to expand the power lines. And they are doing this through eminent domain, which is the government's right to take your property if they need it for public use. And in this case, Georgia Power is a public use company. Now, they have to give these people fair market value for their homes and properties. From what I've heard, Georgia Power is not trying to do that.
Georgia, the state on the rise, and also the state that has given me more than 3 speeding tickets, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. We are here to mention their 8th strongest economy in the United States, $700 billion, 20th on the planet if it were its own country. Yet, median income, bottom half. Teacher salaries, bottom half. Many school districts reporting they are struggling to maintain talent because they're going broke. More than half of their hospitals say the same thing. They're going broke. Let's see, what else do we have here? 40% of their rural counties have no birthing centers to speak of. 60% of Georgians have to drive a half hour or more for medical care. Only 36% of its rural counties have a labor and delivery unit to speak of any kind. Yet, they found $110 million for Cop City. I don't know how many urgent cares you could have built with that, but I guess we'll never know.
We're in Georgia, where Jennifer Deal has been operating this food pantry for more than a decade. Now, for the first time, she's running out of food.
You're welcome. There you go.
The amount of people who need it here is up 40% compared to last year.
Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
As inflation has gone up, more people in her community say they can't afford groceries.
For example, coffee. In 3 weeks, it went up $7.
The average cost of food in America is 28% higher today than it was in 2020. And for Jennifer, that means doing more with less.
So this is where we keep our produce. We used to be able to give out a whole pack of lettuce, but now we have to break it down so that we can feed everybody. A few weeks ago, we ran out of food.
Despite rising demand, the Trump administration has cut nearly $1 billion in federal aid for programs that ensure low-income families are fed.
Not having enough funding to know that I can feed all the people that need it. I think that's frustrating and it's scary.
Georgia voted against its own interest. 60% voted for Trump, hoping for economic relief. But many families right now, they say life has become more harder as groceries cost more, rent is expensive, electricity bills keep rising, and even people working full-time, they're living paycheck to paycheck. So let's have a look. Please like and hype the video and let me know that's in the comments, alright? Let's get into it.
A MAGA-leaning Georgia town is trying to prevent ICE from building a detention facility nearby. This is in a county that Trump won by around 75%. ICE purchased a warehouse in Social Circle, Georgia to create another detention center. They estimate it will hold around 10,000 people, but that's nearly twice as many people as there are actual residents of Social Circle. Now, residents are frustrated due to the lack of infrastructure to support this. A city manager said that their 1967 sewage system is already maxed out, and if ICE goes through with their plans, you'll have to poop on the ground over there. The town's water system is also almost at its limit. Not to mention, the federal government doesn't pay taxes on this property, so the town will lose substantial revenue. Basically, ICE could take over the town's resources and not really pay for it. So residents are fighting back. A city manager refused to turn on the water at the warehouse until ICE came to talk to him. The town's mayor and police chief have also all publicly voiced their opposition, and around town people are canvassing and holding town halls to stop the detention center plans. This is in a heavily MAGA-leaning area, and it's not just in Georgia. ICE has attempted to purchase warehouses in other areas like Virginia and Kansas, but has been stopped by locals. Companies canceled sales to DHS due to public backlash and opposition. In Kansas, the city council even passed a 5-year moratorium on non-municipal detention facilities. No one wants this expansion.
I'm so freaking frustrated right now because I just got off the phone with Georgia Power. I don't understand why my bill is $350. Wash every other day. We only wash with cold water. We unplug everything except the refrigerator. Not only that, but we also turn off our AC during the day. Where? We are a one-income family. We are broke as hell, and we're trying to save up money so we can get out of debt. I'm literally posting on this app to make money to get out of debt. Georgia Power doesn't make it any easy. It feels to me like they're charging me for the fact of me trying to save money. What the hell? And let's not even forget to mention, my stove is gas, my heater is gas. So you're not even using everything full power in my house for electricity. So why is it $350? They want to charge you for the stupidest things ever. You live in Georgia and you have Georgia Power. I am so sorry, because not only is it expensive, but their customer service is useless. The sad part about this is that they're still going to get their $350 and there's nothing I can do about it. Nothing.
When they said Georgia Power, I didn't know that meant I was paying for all of Georgia's power. Why is my bill so high? Who's monitoring? Who's in charge? I'm paying the price of a house. I live in an apartment. What?
Everyone keeps talking about the Georgia Power bill and why they're so high. It's Georgia Power. It's Georgia Power. Georgia Power needs to be investigated. The best thing I ever did for my pockets, I didn't even do it on purpose. I just happened to move to an apartment complex that used Jackson EMC instead of Georgia Power. I've been there for almost a whole year. Next month will be my 1 year. I just got hit with my highest bill. My new apartment is only a little bit smaller than my old apartment. It's still a 2-bedroom. My old apartment, my power bill got so high that I had to do this thing that Georgia Power does, where it basically takes the medium of like your highest bill and your lowest bill and make you pay that each month. And so then at the end, it hopefully kind of evens out. For me, it didn't, because I moved in the summer. And so I owed them about $300 when I moved out. I really had no choice but to do that, because once my bill started reaching the 200 range, I was like, I don't have $200 a month to give to Georgia Power. If you can, switch to Jackson EMC or move to an apartment complex that uses Jackson EMC. Landlords, Jackson EMC is much better than Georgia Power for you, because don't y'all have like a common bill? Don't you still have to pay the power bill for like the office or something? The lights that are throughout the complex, isn't that on y'all? Don't y'all want a cheaper bill too? Not to mention, now I can actually have my AC and heat on. Before, I used to be in my house shivering in the winter. No heat, because I knew Georgia Power was going to charge me an arm and a leg. Now I be comfortable in my apartment. Don't gotta worry about nothing. Georgia Power, you will pay for your crimes. And when that charge hits, ooh, I'm gonna have a front row seat.
Data centers secretly drained water, ruined the locals' water pressure. People in a Georgia town noticed low water pressure in their homes. Weak showers, they couldn't wash their dishes. Officials traced the problem to a massive AI data center site nearby. They were taking the water secretly. They had connected to the water supply without a meter. This was going on for months or even up to a year. They used 30 million gallons of water, which went unaccounted for, before anyone caught on to the issue. Meanwhile, local residents were being told by the government to conserve water because of a drought. Turn off your sprinklers, take shorter showers, they said. Stories like this are starting to pop up everywhere as these huge AI facilities spread into suburban and rural areas. Soon we may be getting weak water supply and paying higher taxes. Also, big companies can store billions of terabytes of information about us to track everything we do. How do you feel about this? Where does this end? Let me know below.
Georgia Power is forcing people off of their land and out of their homes to help build infrastructure for massive AI data centers in Georgia. And yes, they can legally do that through something called eminent domain. Now, what's eminent domain? Eminent domain is when the government or utility companies with government approval can take private properties for projects considered public use. Now, traditionally, that meant highways or power lines, but now residents in Coweta County, Georgia say it's happening because of the exploding demand from AI data centers in Georgia. Now, according to reports, over 330 private properties could be impacted by this, including 21 homes that may be fully acquired and demolished. These are people's homes that they currently live in and don't want to move from, all for a 35-mile transmission line tied to a massive new data center project proposed in Georgia. Now, one homeowner said in an interview, "This is my childhood home behind me, and it is being taken by force by Georgia Power." They have no choice in this matter, guys. And Project Sail is a proposed hyperscale data center campus planned by Prologis, and Atlas Development. The project would sit on 829 acres, include 9 buildings, and could demand around 900 megawatts of electricity, which is an insane amount of power, by the way. Now, Georgia Power says it plans to negotiate purchases and easements first and would only use eminent domain as a last resort, but residents say that they don't feel like they have a choice. One TikTok user, Ansley, whose is at Ansley's Garden, says what Georgia Power is offering for her family home isn't anything close to what the property is actually worth. And this is part of a much bigger problem, right? Like a fight that's happening all across Georgia right now over AI data centers and power usage, water consumption, and whether local communities are paying the price for the tech industry boom. And it really seems like it now. The government is letting Georgia Power get away with taking people away from their homes for AI data centers. Shame on you.
I have 2 things that I want to address with my TikTok and talk to y'all about it that was deeply upsetting me and have me disturbed today, that has been on my mind very heavy. I'm gonna do 2 videos for each one, but for the first video, I think I want to talk about the minimum wage in Georgia. Mind y'all, I'm not a 9-to-5 worker, but my brother just got out of prison. He is a felon, and I've been trying to help him find a job. Now, when I'm looking at these jobs, the pay is shitty as fuck. Let's start there. Then I say, let me go look and see, like, what the minimum wage is right now currently. I haven't checked this back since, like, 2017, 2016, when I was a 9-to-5 worker. And back then it was $7.25. Fast forward to 2026, 10 years later, it's still $7.25, or I think it's $7.50. Either way, that is crazy. That is OD. It's no way in 2026 the minimum wage for the state of Georgia is $7.50, y'all. Anything under $20 is really outrageous. You can't even live like that. Like, the living cost is so fucking high. It's no way possible. People are out here surviving on a $7.25 or $7.50 minimum wage. There's no way. No fucking way. Then not only that, like, okay, the minimum wage is that, but I'm looking at the starting pay for some of the jobs. Even if the starting pay is $12, $13, $16, that's still not enough. Like, apartments are $1,500. $1,300. You're really not finding one for less than $1,000. So I'm just like, how are they able to make a living off of that? Especially if you have a family. If you have a family, you have a house, you have a car. How? And it makes me like, it is disturbing me. And I'm not even the one that need it, but it's highly disturbing. That's why I cannot stress enough, y'all, especially to our young black men. Stay out these streets. Get out these streets. Don't get no felons on your name. Like, go to college, get a job, go to trade school, get a trade. This shit out here is crazy. And especially I keep hearing about how the hiring economy is. It's hard to find a job. Like, that is sick. Y'all, I swear to God, it's been bothering me all day since I looked it up, and I had to get it off my chest. Like, this is just in Georgia. I didn't look up nothing else in nobody else's state because I'm worried about where we are. We're in Georgia, and I cannot believe that the cost of living is high as fuck, but what we're gonna pay you so you can't survive is low? What the fuck?
People need leaders that care about the regular person and not just the billionaires. Elections have consequences, and every vote shapes the direction of a country. Elected leaders, they make decisions about taxes, healthcare, education, wages, food assistance, and many other things, that affect everyday life. Many families across Georgia, they are under serious financial pressure. People wake up early, they work full-time, but still they can't afford to pay their bills. After paying the utilities, most people have almost nothing left, Living paycheck to paycheck has become normal for too many families. People are working 2 jobs and still have to worry about buying enough food or paying for the next utility bill. And this creates stress that affects entire families. And Trump's administration cuts to USAID program affected low-income families who relied on charity like food banks, They said it was necessary to reduce fraud and wastage, but the cuts have made life harder for vulnerable families who rely on food assistance. But Georgia has voted the same way for decades. They keep electing the same leaders despite economic challenges, If you support the same leader, but things keep getting worse, you have all the rights to choose a different path, Because politics is about solving problems, It's about making groceries affordable, wages improve, create well-paying jobs, and better healthcare. These are the things that do matter most. Every election is an opportunity to think carefully about the future, Look beyond the speeches and campaign promises and pay attention to policies, budgets, and even results. You should evaluate leaders based on results rather than loyalty alone. So thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.